25, play to 25 in the first 4 sets. Great atmosphere here on a Friday night for Georgia Tech and Wisconsin. Wisconsin last time out swept Milwaukee Tuesday in Madison. They hit 457 in that match. Last match for Georgia Tech, they lost to Tennessee Tuesday in the SEC-ACC showdown at the net. They dropped the first 2 sets, hit 406 to win set 3, but they lost set 4, 25-13. So Michelle Collier and this Georgia Tech team trying to erase that bad taste that they got at Knoxville, especially out of that 4th set, Emily.
It's going to be important for Georgia Tech today to not give away too many runs. That's where Georgia Tech felt like they lost that matchup. So not allowing Wisconsin to have too many points back on the service line.
First serve of the match is for Georgia Tech. Aloysius Suarez, the setter, the junior from Brazil, is ready to put it into play. And we're ready to go on a Friday night here at Georgia Tech. Charlie Furbringer, of course, the setter. Good early set, dug out. That's going to be long, and the first point goes to Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's playing a much different style of ball than what we've seen in years past. Historically, over the past 5 seasons, they've been one of the tallest and most physical programs in the country. But they lost a lot of that height, 85% of their offensive production. Now they run a faster offense with a lot of big arms on the pins.
Freshman Kristen Simon, the libero with the serve, and then it's out of play, so it is a point for Wisconsin. An early 2-0 lead. There you see Simon. Kelly Sheffield, the head coach, singing her praises earlier today, saying she's going to be one of the very best liberos in the country. Looking to the right side, Wisconsin there with the block, kept up by Georgia Tech. Swing off hands in the first points for the
against Milwaukee. Georgia Tech needs to get her off the service line as soon as possible.
All in the first set, by the way. That caught the tape. That one is in on the swing from the right side by Mendez. 2021 with a title win over Nebraska in 5 sets in Columbus. Back row attack into the net by Egan. Point Georgia Tech. Michelle Collier in her 12th season as Georgia Tech's head coach. You talk about a run, 5 straight trips to the NCAA tournament. She has really got this Georgia Tech program humming right now, but this is a different look for them. You touched on it in the top of the telecast, Emily. That one's going to be in and a point for 3-0 run here for the Badgers as Collier puts it back into play. Good rip. You get a look at what Mambu can do.
Dynamic as an attacker right away, and Michelle Collier says she wants her to just go up and rip the ball every single time.
Be that dynamic attacker. Don't think about it, just do it. Freshman from Chantilly, Virginia, averaging 2.7 kills a set. Herberger to the middle, Andrew. Georgia Tech there defensively. Ital Lupio is onto the floor for Georgia Tech. And that one's going to find the mark. Good start on the attack for Wisconsin.
White, Wisconsin's going to try to run everything away from her. So you see a lot of sets on the Badger side toward the right side of the court.
Here's freshman Natalie Wardlow on the serve for Wisconsin. There's Lupio, drops it in for the kill. The transfer from Texas A&M in her first year with Tech.
She's lined up.
Mambu to serve. Herberger works the middle to Carter Booth. That was one of the concerns for Georgia Tech, is how are they going to control Carter Booth and Allie Andrew, the middles for Wisconsin.
It's incredibly difficult to control both Booth and Andrew because they're 2 very physical middles that are great all around the court. Key for Georgia Tech is making sure that they knock Wisconsin out of system to neutralize the middle attack.
Just long on the serve. Service error will give the point to the Yellow Jackets. Bianca Garibaldi, the Pitt transfer, played 6 matches last season as a freshman. And we're going to have a challenge here by Kelly Sheffield, thinking that perhaps was in. Nine, 6, Wisconsin on top with Georgia Tech serving. Served at Collier. Now on the left side, the block is there. Lupio with the defense for Georgia Tech.
Solo stuff for Lupio on the right side. This is what 6'6".
Violation called on Wisconsin, so the point to Georgia Tech.
When you're in serve receive, your players can't move until that ball has been contacted. This is something that sometimes setters will get called on this rotation, in rotation 1, where Furbringer's in right back, just releasing a little bit too early.
Furbringer, a great job with one hand just to keep it in play for Wisconsin. Lupio kept up by Furbringer, bumped up by Simon, and the attack off hands and a point for Wisconsin.
Gutsy swing from Grace Egan on the outside after she had just gotten blocked a swing before. Goes right at the top of the fingertips this time, a much smarter swing to score off of them.
Aya gets back to serve for the Badgers. Winners of 3 in a row since their loss to Texas. Point, Georgia Tech.
Full shots, that makes it really tricky on the defense to pick up.
Suarez back to serve. Furbringer, Egan on the right side now. Great platform by the former All-American at USF, Michelle Collier. The problem is Michelle still got it.
Oh yeah.
She didn't want that one though, but she still got it. Tech gets the point back.
Also in high-heeled sneakers, which are pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen those. She's got style.
Are you going fashion report on us right now?
There you go, look at them.
Egan, that's going to be off of the hands of Groom, and a point for Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is literally sending everything to Grace Egan right now. This match might come down to whether or not Georgia Tech can find a way to defend her, get some block touches up front, and slow those plays down.
6 kills of the 10 total for Wisconsin so far, and Egan with that big serve into the net. Service error number 3 for Wisconsin. Wisconsin jumped out to a 9-5 lead here in set 1. The libero Velez serving, try to tie things up. Floats it over. Furbringer goes to Collier. That's in. Point Wisconsin.
Really nice connection between the setter, Charlie Furbringer, and her outside, Mimi Collier. This ball pushed with a little bit of tempo, meaning there's not as much arc on it. It's faster. It's more difficult for the blockers to line up in time.
Career match number 105 for number 15, who's back to serve. Work in the middle. Garibaldi with the kill. I referenced it before. Here comes Charatot. So Georgia Tech running the 6-2. They've really gone back and forth. 6-2, 5-1. What do they want to do as Furbringer, the setter in the front row, drops it down? I just want to stick with Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
What is their game plan? What are they trying to accomplish? What do they want to accomplish offensively?
Yeah, Collier wants to run a 6-2, meaning that 2-setter system where you always have 3 attackers up front and a setter in the backcourt, because that really provides a lot of arms on their side, especially on the right side. She says our physicality and our strength are their strengths right now, so she wants to utilize that the best that they can, and the system that does that the best and showcases it, 2-setter system.
Collier, the back row attack off hands, point Wisconsin. That gets Wisconsin to 15. That will get us to our first timeout of the match.
Using that great pop and fast arm that she has.
Transfer from Ohio State. Her career high in kills is 22, and it came against Wisconsin. I have a feeling that performance for Ohio State against Wisconsin left a good impression on the Badgers. And she's been an impact player so far. Joust at the net, won by the arms of Georgia Tech. So out of the media timeout, it's now 15-14.
Missed opportunity on Wisconsin's side. Very easy free ball, meaning the ball's coming over by the hands or by the platform. Those are the plays that Wisconsin has to turn and put right on the money.
15-13, correction, is Mimi Mambu. Serves it, looking for Collier on the back row again. That's been there for Wisconsin.
Furberger's continuing to go to that back row attack, whether it's Collier, number 15 in red, or Grace Egan, 32 in red. It's coming from all over right now. Furberger's doing a nice job of mixing up where she's setting this back row attack.
Sophomore who was a third-team All-American a season ago. Got to feel like a different change for her, right? As they go to the right side, does Georgia Tech. And Lupio, who's been an impact player in her time on the court so far. Deandra Pierce will come in for Georgia Tech. Garibaldi serves. Furberger tipped over. Hustle play by Simon, couldn't get there in time, and Georgia Tech back within one.
Awesome hang time.
First year with Georgia Tech, 7 aces, tied for second on the team. Blocked back, kept up by Wisconsin. That's in for Egan. No touch. Will there be a challenge? I don't think one's coming. Another kill for Grace Egan, having a monster first set.
Normally 4 kills in a set would be All-American type numbers. Right now, Grace Egan is at 7 kills in a set, hitting almost 600.
Contact with the nets by Wisconsin will give the point to Georgia Tech. Suarez back to serve. Georgia Tech keeps getting closer to tying things up, but Wisconsin has had an answer with the side out and been able to hold on to their lead. Furberger. Another point for Wisconsin, another side out for the Badgers. They have gotten the job done time and again here in the first
match so far, so not a lot of defense being played on either side.
That's up into the top row. Simon tried to dig it out, but could not. And another point for Georgia Tech, another side out in this first set for these two teams.
Normally when teams are siding out at a high clip, that means that the passing is really good. They're putting the setter right in the pocket. That means both sides really have to turn up the service pressure and test their opponent.
Let's see what Groom does. Furberger. Egan, everything is coming up. Grace Egan right now. That pass wasn't perfect, but that set wasn't perfect, but she made. And now Egan winds up and delivers. Side out by Georgia Tech to get Egan off the service line. Once again within one.
Big swing from the freshman outside, Mimi Mambu, again attacking that line, going straight on.
Georgia Tech is hitting .526 in the first set. Wisconsin .682, McKella.
In that big swing from Mimi Mambu, she won a silver medal with US U19 national team this past summer. She told me it was the most competitive environment she's ever been a part of, and she would just watch different parts of different players' games. For example, she'd watch Florida's libero, Lily Hayes, and be like, yep, that's how it's done. Or she'd watch Kari Spears with a take part of that for her game, and I think we're seeing those swings tonight.
You can see just completely.
I'm going to interpret right here. They called a touch. Georgia Tech is challenging, saying there was no touch. For the moment, it's point Wisconsin. I just want to finish up what McKella was talking about Mimi Mambu. Class is always in session when
that call was reversed.
And guess what? We're tied for the first time. Georgia Tech has not led here tonight. That tie is short-lived. That's very quick points to your point about the side out and the passing being good. There just has been done. And that's what's happened tonight.
Literally no rallies throughout this match so far. Both teams siding out at about 75%. The passing has been fantastic, and it's been all offense. Wisconsin right now hitting over 600. Georgia Tech hitting over 500.
So different look here for Wisconsin. Furberger is off the court right now as Collier goes back to serve. So look for Horner to set. Look down the middle for the attack. Big swing and a kill, and a fired up sophomore Garibaldi getting into it.
Beautiful.
And now a player from Hungary. Yes, if you follow Georgia Tech through the years, it is quite the international flavor for this program. Tote with the serve. And Georgia Tech has a lead for the first time tonight.
That lead coming from a misconnect on Wisconsin's side. Normally a pretty good connection between Alicia Andrew and Charlie Furbringer, just a little bit too high.
The promotions department, if they want to know, Emily's email is EmilyEman at, no, just kidding.
Whoa.
Out of the timeout. Who do you go with? You go with Collier.
Anytime that Wisconsin needs a point, especially when you're in the red zone from point 20 on and your team is playing a close set to 5, look for them to go to the go-to attackers. It's been Grace Egan tonight, but Wisconsin knows that they can always count on Mimi Collier.
Tied at 21 as Wardlow on the serve. It's good serve at Velez. Mambo. Both teams continue to hum along.
And everyone's scoring at a high clip.
I'm sitting next to a former libero who prides herself on loving defense and loving that kind of play. Are you loving what you're seeing here between these two teams so far?
I think, yeah, the offense looks really good. I think both really need to pick it up defensively, and that really starts from the serve. Both are serving way too easy right now.
No answer from the back row attack from Collier as she steps into another one. 7 kills now for Mimi.
It's Egan, the heavy hitter for Wisconsin up front.
Change here for Wisconsin. Madison Quest, freshman outside hitter, will come on.
Wisconsin doing that. She's 6'3". That provides a bigger block on the right side of the court for the Badgers.
Furbringer. Good serve. Bumped over by the Badgers. Tied at 22. Set 1 in the best of 5. Lupio denied. Simon. Little defense here late in this first set finally, and that one's off the mark. This timed play by Georgia Tech gives the advantage to Wisconsin here in set 1. Timeout called.
Garibaldi, with how effective that she's been, number 5 in white in the middle of the court, get her the ball off a good pass.
Just listened in to Georgia Tech's huddle, and they're looking for the shorter block, and it's going to be Etel right now.
That is good intel, McKellen. Let's see what happens. There it is. Furbringer was ready for it. The defense there for Wisconsin, and that will be under. So Georgia Tech got what they wanted, but Wisconsin had the answer defensively.
Great execution on Georgia Tech's side. They went after a, quote, shorter blocker, still a 6'3" blocker on the left side, but a mismatch against 6'6". Lupio
replied, yeah, sure, when? He said, now, question mark? So they got on the call, and I am not joking, Mimi committed within 10 minutes on that very same call. She thought Kelly was a lot cooler than she expected him to be, and they were just really vibing on that phone call. The most impressive part, they worked overtime to get her enrolled very quick. She committed on the phone on Friday, was in school in Madison by the next Wednesday.
Now Mimi and her Wisconsin teammates have a set point here in set 1. Georgia Tech can't put it away, so here come the Badgers with a chance to win it. And they do. Guess who? Grace Egan, who had a huge first set for this Wisconsin team. 9 kills for Egan as Wisconsin closes the set on a 4-0 run, and they win 25-22.
Grace Egan did everything right there for the Badgers.
Helped them on that 4-0 run to put away Georgia Tech. Remember, Georgia Tech hadn't gotten over the top, but they finally did. Took a 21-20 lead, but then after that, Wisconsin went to work and took set 1.
Biggest thing for Georgia Tech as well, they only had 2 total digs during that entire set. Sometimes the best defense, though, can be putting more pressure on your opponent. So Georgia Tech, I think, has to turn up the service pressure just a little bit more and slow down Wisconsin's offense that way.
Bajagic will serve for Wisconsin to start set number 2 in the best of 5. That is off the mark, and the first point of set 2 goes to the Badgers.
That's an error that Michelle Collier is okay with, because at least Groom is being aggressive on that swing, trying to go for high hands. It's a smart shot, just the execution not quite there.
Working it to the middle, and Deandra Pierce gets her second kill, 1-1.
We haven't seen too many sets to the middle on Georgia Tech's side. They've been very pin heavy so far throughout this match. Look for them to try to establish that middle threat early on here in set 2.
Here is Velez, the senior from Columbia. Second year with Georgia Tech. Collier, that's off hands, point Wisconsin.
Georgia Tech's block is in a really good spot. Just an impressive play from Collier outside, going right at the fingertips with good precision.
8 kills on 8 swings with no errors for Mimi Collier. Still batting 1,000. Good serve by Simon. Furbringer goes to Egan. Great job, great hustle to keep it up for Georgia Tech to stay in the point for the moment. Andrew gets the point for Wisconsin.
Beautiful set from Charlie Furbringer, just a sophomore, but she plays so much older than she is. She has a great understanding for the game. 10 feet off the net, she's able to get Alicia Andrew that set. Really impressive work.
We talked to Kelly Sheffield about that, right? Last year she was a freshman setting this veteran group on the overpass. Collier knows what to do with it and puts it away. But now, just as a sophomore, she's a veteran and a co-captain for Kelly Sheffield. Running the show again for a second year, but with a different cast around her.
And Eric, not only has she grown into more of a leadership role and using her voice more, but Furbringer told me Lauren Carlini, who was an All-American player at Wisconsin, has shown her what it really means to be a setter. She said it means it's your team. You have to run the floor, and it is a selfless position. She's even been able to pick up on small adjustments and hitter tendencies so that Furbringer can really fine-tune her sets to cater to each of her hitters' needs.
The biggest jump in Furbringer's game has been the transition from just making sets to actually setting things up and understanding the defense on the other side.
Dug out by Simon. Collier. Tapped over and contact with the net by Wisconsin. Protest coming here from the Badgers. Allie Andrew leading the charge, but remember, Wisconsin was unsuccessful with a challenge early in that first set, so they have 1 challenge remaining right now.
And this is not a challengeable offense, so this is a judgment call of whether that ball broke the plane and they could attack it. Up ref ruling that they were not able to do that as she was trying to set the ball.
Excellent details, thank you, Emily. Egan showing off that quick, strong arm into double digits with 10 kills.
Grace Egan is just unloading on these plays. Most of her kills on the right side, too, are coming down the line, so she's swinging straight on. That might be a block that Georgia Tech looks to move over a little bit more toward the antenna.
Lupio missed the mark. Point Wisconsin. Velez has been able to handle the Egan serve the best she can. It knocked her over last time, but Wisconsin stretching their lead out 6-3. Here comes Egan again. Once again, Velez knocked backwards. This time they'll get Egan off the line as Lupio is successful. Point Georgia Tech.
What an angle from Lupio up front. She's able to go almost up and over the block, but first to serve, check out Velez just getting knocked over based on how hard that ball was hit. Lupio turns that right thumb down and nearly takes out Collier up front.
Collier leans into one. Another good job by Velez to keep it up. Off hands, back over to the Georgia Tech side. Groom caught the court, got the kill. That's her third.
Tech having good success on their left sides, no matter which attacker has been out there, especially in this rotation, just really trying to target Charlie Furbringer's shorter block on the right side.
Furbringer to Collier. Those two, I think when we talked a little bit, like maybe the connection wasn't great between Furbringer and Collier in the matches to start the season. It looks pretty on point tonight.
Especially with how fast Wisconsin is running the outside set, which isn't typically something you see from the Badgers. That connection, the margin for error is a lot lower, but they've really been developing that as a good one.
That's going to go into the books as an ace for Mimi.
The Badgers really ramping up that service pressure, trying to knock Georgia Tech out of system. It's really difficult when you're a freshman outside, just like Mimi Mambu and Annika Grumar, to defend some of these serves.
First ace for Wisconsin tonight, second of the season for Collier. Furbinger goes to the middle. On the slide was Andrew. Blocked back by Wisconsin. Furbinger tries again with Andrew. Point Wisconsin.
That slide attack behind the setter is so fast for Wisconsin. From the time it's in Furbringer's hand to the time Andrew makes contact, look how fast it is. There's no time for blockers to get set by the time you're already making contact with it.
Wisconsin had a 9-5 lead in set one. They have a 9-5 lead here in set two. Lupio. Opportunity lost there is presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. Out of the Georgia Tech timeout, they find Lupio. Collier sends it back over. To the middle, point Georgia Tech. Garibaldi gets the kill for Georgia Tech, but when it comes to Wisconsin, it's the Egan Collier show up front.
20 combined kills is insane if you would think, even for 3 sets into a match, and we're not even 2 sets into the match right now. Egan leading at .833 hit percentage. For context, normally hitting 300 is a really good number for an outside or a right side, and she's almost tripled that.
A little more balance for Georgia Tech. Lupio, Mambu each with 4 kills to pace Tech. Garibaldi just got her 3rd. She, Groom, and Mendez all with 3. Back row attack, that's in. Collier continues to swing error-free here in this match.
Collier's back row attacks are actually better than her front court attacks. Just by the way that she can see the blockers in front of her, she has better vision. She can see the holes in the block, the holes through the hands potentially, and where exactly to hit these shots.
That's not to say she's not pretty good up front.
She's about 30 points more efficient in the backcourt this season, which is impressive.
Good swing by one of those youngsters to the outside. Georgia Tech's just trying to play a lot of players. We've been so used through the years to watching Georgia Tech with a very tight group. You knew who was going to be on the court, but now it's a little bit of mixing and matching, and Groom getting the swings from the outside right now.
Especially on the outside pin. Georgia Tech has had players like Mariana Brambila, the 2-time All-American, Julia Bergman, 3-time All-American out there. They've been blessed with so many good outsides for so many years. Now it's completely replacing all of them. You have 2 freshmen outside starting, and it's a big adjustment period, especially when you're going up against ranked opponent after ranked opponent. Tamara
Otene had 21 kills against Wisconsin in the NCAA tournament last year from her outside spot. Another name from last year for Georgia Tech. They need production from the right side. They need leadership from the right side because that's where the veteran players are, and Mendez comes through with the kill.
And so far this season, Georgia Tech has been pretty balanced, but Michelle Collier says they need more production from the right side, especially from a player like Larissa Mendez, who's one of the veterans for the Yellow Jackets.
Suarez with the serve. Booth drops it in beautifully for the kill. That's the second one for Carter.
Typically don't see roll shots coming from a middle attacker, but Carter Booth has really nice ball control. If that set isn't perfect, she's able to put it right in.
That's a service error for Wisconsin. Point Georgia Tech. Groom back to serve for the Yellow Jackets. Wisconsin took set 1 25-22. They hit 600 in that first set. They're hitting 615 here in set 2. Georgia Tech trying to hang with that Wisconsin attack. And Egan into the net. That's her 4th attack error of the night. Georgia Tech will take it to pull within 2.
And Egan just pulling that one down a little bit too far, going right into the block. Georgia Tech showed a seam, but then closed it up right at the last second.
service error. That's the first of the night for Georgia Tech. And Wisconsin's back in top by 3. Mambu in serve receive, then tried to put it away. Collier off hands, and that's down for a point. Mimi Collier, 12 kills on 15 swings with no errors.
Georgia Tech has to find an answer, both for Collier and Egan on Wisconsin's side, especially out of system. Those plays have to be transitionable for Georgia Tech.
Wisconsin with the block. Collier and Booth team up to put it back for the Badgers.
Wisconsin's first block of the night. This is normally a Wisconsin team that has been known for blocking over the past few seasons, but they've been harder to come by this year just with the less physical team. That's a point of emphasis, especially as the season goes on, to try to establish better.
Averaging 2.5 blocks a set in the early going this season. Pierce from the middle, down the middle, point Georgia Tech.
Beautiful pass on Georgia Tech's side, allows that middle to run. It's difficult to get the middle going if you're not within about 10 feet of the net, and Georgia Tech's done a nice job of putting that ball right up to it.
Like that may have been heading out, but Velez played it. Mambu with a good rip. That's off of Wisconsin. And a point for Georgia Tech, trying to hang in there here in set number 2.
Really confident swing from Mimi Mambu. This ball coming from the complete other side of the court. Not a lot of attackers are going to take a big swing on this. Mambu unloads on it.
5 kills, hitting .444. Wisconsin kept it up. Looked like it was heading out of play, but they stick with it. And then the block. Booth at the net.
What a read from Carter Booth. Not only is her body in the right position, but watch her hands. She's able to wrap them straight down. That causes that ball to go pretty much almost on her side under the net.
Carter Booth now in her 3rd season with the Badgers after starting her career at Minnesota. Closing in on 500 career blocks. Got a couple tonight, 6 away from 500 in her career. Good serve, out of play, ace Wisconsin.
The Badgers have definitely ramped up the service pressure coming from all around. That's been the biggest key right now that has them this 5-point lead here. It's really difficult coming into a year with a lot of question marks, but they've done a much better job adjusting right away, because it's not like you have freshmen out there, but you've got players kind of playing like freshmen next to each other because they're not familiar with one another.
It's the classic case of a team that you think they're going to be building up as the season goes along and looking better and better as this season gets closer and closer to the NCAA tournament.
For context, you look at Wisconsin right now, not one single player has played next to each other this entire year.
Wisconsin puts it into play. Collier rolls it over. Furbringer directing traffic. One of the longest points of the match so far. Furbringer to Collier. Velez straight up. Mambu. And a point.
And then dig in defensively.
Defense is going to be the biggest key when you have 2 pin attackers who have combined for 22 kills already between Collier and Egan. Georgia Tech, though, showing signs, especially with that dig from Sofia Velez, showing that they can handle some of that heat, but they have to turn it on now.
Wisconsin has cooled off in the Atlanta Heat. They're now hitting just 400 here in this set. But 520 for the match. And guess what? That number's going back up the other way. Egan rips again. That's 11 kills for Grace Egan.
Everything has been power from Grace Egan. When she gets a good set, you know that it's coming hard at you. Defensively, you got to make sure you're staying on your toes and attacking that ball rather than getting caught on your heels.
So Egan back to serve. Velez knows it's coming her way. But Egan can't clear the net. Point Georgia Tech. Service error number 5 for Wisconsin.
With a player like Grace Egan, you're okay if you have some misses because of what she does in terms of production and aces, but also knocking a team out of system.
Mimi Mambu, the freshman, to serve for Georgia Tech. Overpass. Ferbringer, the setter there with the defense for Wisconsin. Point Badgers.
Charlie Ferbringer is only 5'11", but she's really disciplined with her hands. So she's a player that you can't necessarily target all the time just because she's undersized.
Collier back to serve for Wisconsin. Off the block, point Wisconsin.
Beautiful transition play for the Badgers. Egan sticks this dig up in the middle of the court, and watch Ferbringer get her feet all the way there to not only get her hands on this ball, but push it faster with tempo to the outside.
Wisconsin, the first to 20 here in set 2, up by 6, pulling away, but Collier, one of her, well, I mean, I guess it's her only mistake. She hasn't had any attack errors, and now there's a service error for Mimi. But other than that, it's been pretty good for Wisconsin's 1-2 punch of Collier and Egan. Ferbringer makes sure Wisconsin gets right back into rhythm as Andrew gets the kill. That's 6 kills for her out of the middle tonight.
Yeah, Ferbringer's making sure to get Andrew going, and she's especially effective on this slide attack off of 1 foot behind the setter. That connection's gotten a lot better between Ferbringer with her.
Wardlow back to serve for Wisconsin. Trying to go up 2 sets to none. And the block. Carter Booth teaming up with Madison Quest to send it back for the Badgers.
Madison Quest checks into matches because of that physicality. She's 6'3" on the outside, providing a lot of height. Georgia Tech goes after it, but that's a big shutdown.
Badgers now up to 3 blocks. Georgia Tech hitting 152 this set, so the Wisconsin defense has showed up here in set number 2 to cool off Georgia Tech. Tech gets the point this time, though.
Siding out fast is going to be massive for Georgia Tech, something they did incredibly well during that first set. Siding out about 2/3 of the time. You have to get a good pass to be able to do that.
Anya Fedorovich back to serve for Georgia Tech. Freshman from Poland had 4 kills, played a couple of sets against Tennessee on Tuesday at 364. That will sail long. A service error for Tech, and Wisconsin 2 points away from going up 2 sets to none. Charlie Ferbringer to serve. Bella's got there, but Georgia Tech can't get it over, and it is set point Wisconsin.
Ferbringer has a bullet for a serve back there. She hits the ball so flat, there's not a lot of spin on it. Makes it really difficult as a passer to get behind it with your arms around.
Another good one from Ferbringer. Georgia Tech still in it.
Much better handle on Tech's side, nailing that pass up at the net. That gets the faster tempo offense going, and Georgia Tech stays alive.
Broom has to go on an epic serving run here to keep Georgia Tech going here in set 2. Serves it at Collier. Ferbringer goes the long way and off the block. The kill to end it. Unya Vajagic gets it done, and Wisconsin keeps it going at set 2. They hit 520 in set 2. They're hitting 564 for the match.
Everything for Wisconsin has been through their offense. They haven't had necessarily even 10, 11 feet off the net. She's forcing tempo, faster sets, especially to the outsides, and she's not being predictable in when she's going to the middle. She's doing it when she's off of the net, which makes it difficult for Georgia Tech to read. But her ball location has been superb tonight. She's putting her hitters in awesome situations, not just to get a swing on, but to get a kill on.
So your numbers: 28 assists and 6 digs for the sophomore through 2 sets. Collier with the 12 kills, Egan with the 11 kills, Andrew from the middle with 6 kills, hitting .500. And for Georgia Tech, Mambu with 6 kills to set the pace, hitting .385. For the match, Georgia Tech hitting .311, but they were held to 200 there in that second set. Sheffield mentioned to McKella how the defense found its footing a little bit late in that second set, and that helped Wisconsin pull away. Let's see what Georgia Tech can do as Suarez is set to serve here in set 3. Wisconsin wins this set, the match is over. Sometimes when you're looking for more pressure and a more aggressive serve, it leads to service errors, and that's what happens for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, pretty much always when you're putting in tougher serves, that error number is going to go up too. But Michelle Collier has to be okay with that if Tech is going to serve harder.
Kristen Simon serves for Wisconsin, kept up by Furbringer. Pancake was good. And the kill for Pierce.
Great up on Wisconsin's side. Furbringer is able to get her hand right under this for the pancake, playing really good right back defense. Watch her run through this ball, get her hand right in time. Good precision there, but Georgia Tech's able to transition that in an out-of-system situation.
Here's now with 5 kills. Here's Collier. Kept alive by Groom. And into that by Mambu.
Those are the plays that Collier doesn't want to see from Mimi Mambu, number 12 in white. She's a powerful, dynamic attacker. She doesn't want to see any tips or roll shots from a player like Mambu. It needs to be all power all the time.
Freshman with 65 total kills so far. This is match number 8 on the season for Georgia Tech. Look to the middle. Block was there for Wisconsin. Now they have a chance here with Furbringer. Surveyed, looked for the dump, couldn't get it. Velez kept it alive. Furbringer goes to Collier. Out of play, point Wisconsin.
This outside set is so difficult for Georgia Tech to get 2 blockers up because of the speed of it. Furbringer is pushing the tempo outside, so Georgia Tech's middle can't get out there in time.
Egan. That's an ace for Grace Egan.
Beautiful topspin serve from Egan. The way that she's able to throw this up and get on top of the ball coming from the backcourt. And this angle going from right back to left back is so difficult as that left back passer.
First ace tonight, 9th of the season for Grace Egan. Mambu leans into that one. Was there a touch? Yes, there was, according to our officials. Point for Georgia Tech, rather, off Wisconsin.
Those are the plays that Mambu is known for, just that power attack, that time catching fingertips.
Furbringer looking for Egan in the back row attack. Point Wisconsin.
Connection on these back row attacks has been so impressive to watch for Wisconsin this season, whether it's Egan or Collier through the back row. Furbringer is pushing that all the time when they're back there.
12 kills for Grace Egan, hitting .444. Mambu with the roll. Furbringer looks for Collier on the back row attack. And that is the first attack error of the night for Mimi Collier.
She's human. She's not a robot.
Came on her 20th swing of the night.
Just such an impressive number for a player that's playing on the outside. Normally you're okay with about a 300 hit efficiency. She's still at 600 on the match.
Tote, that one will sail long. Four service errors for Georgia Tech, 2 already here in set 3. Natalie Wardlow will serve. Lupio found the opening, got the kill for Georgia Tech.
Ball hit kind of with a feather coming off her hand. A little bit funky, not what she anticipated to do. Going for the hard shot, but just catches fingertips. But hey, point's a point. It scores in the middle of the court.
5 kills for Lupio. Getting a little warm in this building. Sellout crowd packed in here on a warm day. It wasn't a hot day in Atlanta, low 80s, very comfortable, but still gets a little toasty in this building. Oh, Carter Booth hammers that one down. Another assist for Furbringer.
Those are the plays that Carter Booth is known for. Just absolutely thumping the ball straight down. Such a good connection with her setter. And man, there's just no stopping that one. Carter Booth's on fire.
3 kills for Booth, 6 kills for Andrew, as Furbringer back to serve and sharing the wealth. That one's going to end up in the crowd at point Georgia Tech.
Good push to the outside. Monica Groom does a really nice job getting her feet there, keeping that ball in play and finding the point too.
What did Michelle Collier say to you? Just the message to these young outsides, just keep swinging. They just need a little bit more confidence. It's going to build throughout the season. These are 2 teams that are going to be a lot better as the season goes along because there's so many new faces, young players. It's like Wisconsin's learning curve is kind of ramped up. That's going to be dropped in because you have veteran players like Mimi Collier on the floor.
Yeah, it certainly helps when one of your new faces is a 3-time All-American stepping in on the court. Not only as just a great player, but also a leader to kind of show these younger players how it's done.
So consistent, averaging 4 kills a set in her career. She's got 13 kills tonight. Sent back, but out by Georgia Tech. So Wisconsin for the 3rd consecutive set as a 9-5 lead. Little nugget. I take notes.
Wow.
I mean, I write down things. I take notes. Did you think I just memorized all this stuff?
It also just shows that Wisconsin's starting off these sets really well. We saw how close.
Wisconsin won set 1, 25-22. Georgia Tech led 21-20 in that first set, but Wisconsin closed things out, and that one just floats in the air and drops down for an ace.
A lot of smiles out on the bench from where those serve signals are coming from because that's a beautiful serve right into traffic, meaning where players are going to make their routes. It's a lot of confusion on Georgia Tech's side for who's going to play that.
4th ace, a little bit more pace by Bajagic on that serve. Little pace hack by Georgia Tech to give the point to the Jackets.
Mita Lupio has done a really nice job today just using that physicality to her advantage, but also the vision. Not only is she able to go up and over most blocks, but doing a nice job hitting around it as well.
Suarez to serve for Georgia Tech. Lupio now with 6 kills. Collier, great job by Velez to keep the point going. Looked like perhaps that was going to go out. I think maybe there was a touch at the net, and that's why it was played by Wisconsin.
Beautiful up. Velez in the backcourt lays out for this and not only gets it up, but Georgia Tech's able to transition that into a point. Those are the plays that the Yellow Jackets want, just getting touches in the backcourt.
Booth misses the mark this time, and Georgia Tech perhaps building a little momentum here in this must-win set 3.
It's all got to come from service pressure, just Georgia Tech finding ways to make Wisconsin serve receive uncomfortable.
Matches the longest run of the night for Georgia Tech. For the 2nd time tonight, they have a 3-0 run going right now. That run is still alive, thanks to keeping the ball alive. Down the line, Collier is going to get the point. Came down the net, went out of play. Point Wisconsin.
And Tech's blockers are just a little bit late because of the speed that's going outside. Deandra Pierce in the right position with her hands, just a split second too late because that set's so fast for the Badgers.
Won't show up on the stat sheet, but nice little limbo move by Grace Egan there.
Dodgeball.
Furbringer goes to Egan. Another kill for Grace Egan. That is 13 tonight.
Even with a big double block formed in front of Grace Egan, she's using power to rip right through that. This is not an off speed, but it catches the block in a tough position. It's just coming off her hand too fast.
Off Wisconsin hands, point Georgia Tech.
Those are the plays that Georgia Tech needs more of, staying aggressive on those easy 50-50 balls up at the top of the tape. Any opportunity that Tech can have to stay aggressive and swing away, they have to capitalize on.
A little tighter here in set 3 compared to the first 2 sets when it comes to hitting percentage. Egan had to reset her feet. Georgia Tech took advantage, got organized. They got there for the block, and the Yellow Jackets within 2.
That's a crafty set from Charlie Furbringer, but with how high it was, it gave Tech so much time to set up and shut it down.
Just beautifully done. The pass, the set, the kill by Collier. That gives her 16 kills and the point to Wisconsin.
Georgia Tech is definitely putting more of an emphasis on Grace Egan when she's up front. That's leaving Mimi Collier in good positions to go off right now. Kind of pick your poison there. You got Egan or you got Collier. Who are you going to go with?
Egan trying to get that serve dialed in. Third service error of the night to go along with 1 ace for Grace. Velez for Georgia Tech. Furbringer gets the setter dump kill for Charlie. That's her second tonight.
A key for Furbringer coming into the season was to be more of a threat up front, get more dumps, be more aggressive up there on tight balls. That's something Furbringer we haven't seen too much today, but when she establishes herself up there, then it opens up her other attackers.
Blocked out of play, point Georgia Tech.
In these rotations where Furbringer, number 24 in red for Wisconsin's up front, look for Georgia Tech to continue to attack that block, meaning they'll send a lot of balls to the left side of the court on Tech's side.
Toad comes on to set and to serve for Georgia Tech. Furbringer, tough one for Andrew, but she made the most of it and got the point. That'll get us puddle again.
I was, and Michelle's Collier message is consistent. If anything, they want to swing high overhands, and they are targeting Charlie Furbringer for a little bit of a smaller block on that side. So watch out for that moving forward. And you know, she said, be ready to swing. It's the same.
Collier just wants to see her players stay aggressive up front and really attack Furbringer going right over them. They tried to do it during that play, but Wisconsin was able to defend it.
Georgia Tech just has no answer defensively for Wisconsin tonight. The Badgers are hitting .521 for the match. Now you can try to go toe-to-toe offensively, and Georgia Tech offensively swinging at a pretty high clip, but this is not sustainable if you can't get any stops.
Yeah, this is why it's frustrating for Georgia Tech, because you're hitting .317 against the number 6 team in the country, but you can't let them hit over 500 against you. Georgia Tech just hasn't been able to dig in defensively to get it done.
Collier from the back row. You mentioned it earlier. I just want you to expand on it a little bit. Why is she better from the back row? What is she seeing that kind of opens up the court for her?
Yeah, Collier's vision is better in the back row, because when you're going up, you have better angles and just more space to see the blockers in front of you. When you're swinging on the right, on the left side up front, you have about a foot of space between your face and the blocker's hands. In the backcourt, you've got about 10, 12, 13 feet of space to see where the blocker's hands are so you can place your shot better.
Furbringer with the serve. Off the Wisconsin block and down for a point for Georgia Tech.
Not to a power get front for Tech. Groom does a nice job, even with a big block in front of her, just using power to rip right through it, which is exactly what their coach wants to see.
Here's Bianca Garibaldi ready to serve for Georgia Tech. Another service there. They've tried to get aggressive with the serve, but it has been costly here in this third set. Just hasn't been effective enough. It has cost them points, and you cannot give away points to Wisconsin with the way Wisconsin's attacking on offense, hitting at 527. Good serve for the Badgers. They go to the right side. Lupio. Furbringer with the up. Tote kept it alive. Rooms had a good match. Egan, hustled by Mambu, couldn't get to it. It's a point for Wisconsin and a timeout being called by Georgia Tech. 19-14 Badgers here in the third.
And Grace Egan, again, doing a really nice job on this right side pin. This is a position that Grace Egan hasn't played before throughout her entire career, and she was at Ohio State for the past 2 seasons. She's been training as an outside attacker. It's much different when you join a team and you're on a right side. This was a position that Grace Egan didn't even know that she was going to play headed into the season, but Wisconsin had an injury with Grace Lopez, another one of their transfers that came in who tore ACL in the spring, was out for the season. So Wisconsin was looking for someone to step up on the right side. For a lot of teams, especially in the system that Kelly Sheffield runs, kind of like the international game where you have a power opposite, Wisconsin wanted to find that. Adding Grace Egan into this lineup on the right side has been massive to add just that layer of versatility in Wisconsin's offense that they needed.
Are you ready for some more volleyball coming up on Sunday?
Yeah, let's go.
You had a good time in Austin last week, right?
I did.
And you have not experienced the Greg.
No, I haven't.
Guess what?
I get to do it.
I'll see you there Sunday. It's Arizona State and Texas Top 10 Showdown, Game 2 of our doubleheader. Coming up on Sunday. Get things started on ESPN2 with Baylor and Florida. That's coming up on Sunday. We're still flying a little high after that Stanford-Texas thriller where Texas fought off 3 match points against the Cardinal, who were surging, and picked up that win in front of 10,000 plus at the Moody Center. See some of the key numbers and names from our match here tonight. All Wisconsin at the moment. And out of the timeout, attack error, no touch by Wisconsin. The Badgers are 5 points away from a sweep. Catch a break. Lupio into the net. Wisconsin getting closer to their 4th consecutive win.
Wisconsin also in a rotation with their best front line, Grace Egan, Mimi Collier, and Carter Booth up front. Georgia Tech has to side out as soon as possible. There you go.
Anyway, anyhow, right now for the Yellow Jackets, they side out. They'll get Suarez back on the floor. She'll head back to serve. Collier, Furbringer, back row attack, up and off the rafters, came down on Georgia Tech side, so it's in play. Doesn't happen too often, a little higher ceiling here, but it's still rattled around in there, and Georgia Tech on their home floor wasn't ready for it, and it's 22-15.
Yeah, those are plays that you just can't have on your side, but this early in the season with players playing next to each other for the first time this year, sometimes those errors will come. Frustrating though as a fan base and as a team.
Good serve by Simon, and good attack by Mendez. Room serves for Georgia Tech. Furbringer for Andrew. Furbringer for Collier. Another kill for Mimi Collier. That is 18. Her season high 26 against Kansas in her Wisconsin debut. Hit .339 in that 5-setter. The win for the Badgers. Hitting 6 .07 tonight.
And she also hit 600 in their win over Milwaukee as well. So just an incredibly efficient week that we've seen from Mimi Collier so far.
She had 25 swings and 1 attack error against Milwaukee. She's got 28 swings and 1 attack error against nationally ranked Georgia Tech here tonight. That caught the ceiling, stays in play on the Wisconsin side. Mambu. Furbringer, back row attack. Egan hammers it into the net. Point Georgia Tech.
And you could tell how badly Grace Egan wanted to just rip at that ball. Kind of shaking her head at herself after that swing, but that's a good lead by Charlie Furbringer to get her there. Now she'll head back to serve receive, which is unique as an opposite. Typically you don't see right sides passing, but she does in 3 rotations when Furbringer's up front.
Collier is long, says there was a touch. Will Kelly Sheffield challenge it? He's just going to let it play out right now. Doesn't go to the challenge card. And Georgia Tech will serve 23-18 here in the 3rd set. Wisconsin up 2-0. Furbringer, Collier again out of play. Match point, Wisconsin. Sheffield will make a couple substitutions here. Addie Horner will come on. Furbringer will check out. Quest on as well. And fittingly, Mimi Collier back to serve for the match for Wisconsin.
Bigger block up front for Wisconsin with those subs.
Egan with the up. Tight at the net. Rolls over. Georgia Tech to play it. Horner. Little miscommunication. That's going to go out of play. And a point for Georgia Tech.
I like that decision for Horner to come in and try to set the back row on that, but with 2 back row attackers, you got to be clear who you're going to, but also make sure that that ball isn't right between them.
Furbringer comes back on for Wisconsin. Match point number 2 for the Badgers. Furbringer. That does it. Bajagic with the swing and an impressive, most impressive offensive performance for Wisconsin. They sweep Georgia Tech. They hit .488.